Hello, this is, oh, hang on, someone missed me. Hello, this is Premiere Cosplay live stream. Today we're going to be working on one, maybe two things. And I'm in my basement. That's some of the stuff I'm going to be working on. I'll be adjusting the lights because I know they're perfect for me, but bright for a stream. So hopefully we'll enjoy this. This is going to be put on my YouTube later for those who wish to see it on YouTube as opposed to Facebook. So yeah, here we go. Best thing is I've got a ping pong table and this net folds up my phone perfectly. So yeah, I can do that. Alright. So first thing I'm going to be doing is making a pattern for a new shirt. Sunday papers are always good for that. And oh, oops, that's what happens when you hit the net. It knocks your phone over. So what we're going to do is take an old tank top of mine to utilize for the pattern, because what I'm going to be making is another tank top, because the character I am making, this paper may not be big enough. I do not think this paper is big enough. I'm going to be making Inishi Yukishiro, or Yukishiro Inishi, depending on how you want to use your syntax, from Rurouni Kenshin. He is a character from the manga. You don't see him in the anime because he doesn't appear until the third storyline arc of the manga, and the anime only does the first two arcs. He does make a brief appearance in the Seo Sohan, which is also known as Reflection. Very brief. And he also makes appearances in Trust and Betrayal, but I'm not sure if he's in Trust. And these are all the movies, part of the movie collection of Kenshin. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can do this, which I may not be able to because the paper is too small. Luckily, I can do this. We're just going to overlap the paper a bit. Get some nice handy tape. See, I prepared for this. And then tape it together. So it is 7 o'clock, a little after 7, because I said I'd start at 7. And so I'll go at least an hour, depending on how much progress I do and how I'm feeling. I may go more. I think I'm going to go 2 hours maximum. Alright. Pardon. Yes. So, a little trick I learned from someone, a fellow cosplayer, J. Joe. Really good. Check her out. Take a shirt, flip it inside out, or take whatever you're wearing that you similar to what you're wearing, flip it inside out, and kind of make a pattern from that. So, yeah. So I got my shirt lined out, and then gotta make my pattern. Now, this is my first. This is going to be the first cosplay where I'm pretty much going to make the clothing aspects from beginning to end. So yeah, that's exciting. And I'm going to adjust the lighting now. So that it's a little bit better. Hang on. That's a little bit better. Actually, yeah. It's a little bit easier for you to see me, and you can still kind of see what's going on with this. So let me go ahead and center the camera a bit. Okay, so I accidentally hit end when I was moving the phone. So yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully the first 5-6 minutes doesn't get deleted. So as I was saying, this is going to be my first cosplay that I'm going to try and do from beginning to end, where I'm actually going to create and sew all of it. So yeah, there's that. Alright, let me do this. So I do apologize. Like I said, so what I'm going to be doing is, like I said, doing this from the very beginning, so you can actually see me. Doing this from the very beginning and working this all out. So just to give you an idea of who I will be cosplaying as. It'll be this guy. So that is Inishi. Again, to give you an idea. So I'm actually going to have to make pants, tank top, bracers, and a sword, and whatnot. So that's what I'm doing with this tank top. I'm going to make a tank top for that. Okay, so... What did I do with the Sharpie? I find using the Facebook live feed easiest right now. Eventually, as I figure things out, probably go into Twitch, maybe, possibly. We'll see. That'll be an endeavor. Alright, so I don't want to trace exactly on the cloth. I actually want to, from what I have learned from Lunatic, also a very good cosplayer, dropping some names today, JJo, Lunatic. Give yourself allowance for seams. So I think, if I remember correctly, it's going to be 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. So we're going to kind of eyeball it because I don't have a ruler. And in hindsight, I realized I don't have scissors with me either to cut out this pattern. That's like an inch. I'm giving myself an inch. I can always trim this later. Yeah, I'm actually giving myself a good inch. So, since I'm giving myself about an inch, I'm probably going to be trimming this down significantly later. You know what though, that's fine. It'll make it roomier. I actually want a pretty high neckline cut. So I'm actually going to go redraw this here in a second after I get a ruler. So if you don't mind waiting for, oh, say about a minute or two, I'll be right back. Okay, so the nice thing is when you know where everything is, it's easy to recover. I also got scissors, so I can cut this out later. So yeah, I probably did not mention this. I'm going to try to do this for about an hour or two every Monday around 7 Eastern Time. And this will help me actually work on cosplay as opposed to not doing it and being procrastinating. So yeah. And I probably won't be working on it in between sessions. So yeah, this will help me make progress and motivate me to do stuff. So that's kind of the ultimate reason. I will say this though, next week I will not be streaming on Monday. I will actually stream on Tuesday instead to make up for it. In part because the third and final live-action movie for Rurouni Kenshin will be next week, on Monday at 7:30 in theaters. I will be going because I went to the theaters for it these past 2-3 months. Yeah, September and August. So yeah, really excited, really looking forward to it. If you know me at all, Rurouni Kenshin is one of my favorite animes of all time. Inishi is actually not my favorite character, but part of the reason why I'm doing this was because of a potential cosplay group for Kenshin with Lunatic. And the character that I actually wanted to do was already taken. And that was Ayoshi. Shinomori Ayoshi. He's actually my favorite character, which I'll explain later. But yeah, so that happened, so I decided, okay, I'll take Inishi, because he's a really good character, and the group never really happened, but maybe doing this will revitalize it, who knows? If not, I'm still going to do it, because it's actually, as you saw, a rather simplistic cosplay to do, in terms of clothing, and I figured this will be a good way to get my feet wet with the sewing aspects of cosplay, since I'm so busy doing props. And so, yeah. So I'll be doing Inishi. It'll be kind of my first summer-style cosplay. Because everything else, Adam, Mustang, Yukio, Kyoya, they all have layers. They all have jackets. And it sucks wearing them in the summer when it's like 95 plus degrees with high humidity because you melt and die. Oddly enough, I'm making a summer cosplay. That probably won't be finished until winter. So yeah, I got brains, I think. Let me move this camera stand. Yeah, I was actually going to use my camera stand for this until I realized, wait, there's a net on the table, on the ping pong table that I can use to hold up my camera. And I can slide it around until I hit the cancel end button and stop the stream temporarily. Because I'm an idiot. Self-depreciating humor. Actually, not used all the time, but I do use it on myself a lot. And I'll get into that in another reason why I do that. I'll get into at another time because it's an important topic. And sometimes it helps as a survival skill when you had to grow up being bullied. But anyways, where was I? Yes, I was going to measure out properly 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch for the seam allowance because I think I gave myself an inch. I gave myself 1.25 inches. Haha, that's way too much. Alright, so we're going to... Where did I put the marker? Okay. So, I'm going to be quiet now and shut up. Give myself 1/2 inch. Probably going to give myself a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but that's okay. Yeah, but the advice I was given was 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Since I am not confident at all, we're going to go 1/2 inch and then some, and just a little bit more. And hope for the best. And connect some of these dots that I've made. So, one thing I want to mention, like I said, Aoshi was my favorite character. I was just going to explain why. It's not mentioned so much in the anime, but in the manga, I mean, they still portray it well enough in the anime, but in the manga, they elaborate on it some more, and actually do character development on it some more, is his redemption. They introduce him as a villain. Spoiler alert if you haven't read it, but here's the thing, it's been out for a long time. Aoshi is a villain, and he basically, in the second arc, is he's introduced in the first arc as a bad guy, and then gets redeemed near the end of the second arc, and then he becomes a good guy. So I'm actually a sucker for redemption stories. In particular, something along the lines of Ayoshi's. Not every redemption story I'm not a sucker for. It's got to meet certain criterias. And Ayoshi's redemption story fits that criteria. But again, he is my favorite character, and I can go into it a lot more. But as I mentioned earlier, not gonna be him, which is fine, because if I ever decide to do Aoshi, I'm actually going to be doing his good guy outfit, not his bad guy outfit. That is not for a while. For now, I'm going to do Inishi, who is definitely a bad guy, and has a very nice. Like I said, he's in the third arc. That storyline arc is wonderful character development for a lot of characters besides Kenshin. In particular, Yahiko. Oh my god. Yahiko's character development arc probably put me in tears when I first read it. Or pretty near close to it. It was beautifully done. I loved it. Alright, so that finishes that part of it. And I'm seeing movement. Yes, okay, so I actually got people in my chat. Wow, that's surprising. So the live stream, yes, I'm glad the live stream is working. And yes, I tend to play the bad guys. However, my first cosplay was actually a good guy. It was Kyoya. But at the same time, it's Kyoya. So he's a main character, but he's also known as the Shadow King. And then we have, let's see, Mustang. He's a good guy. I guess I'm just more well known for playing the bad guys. So, yeah, Adam being my most well known, definitely a bad guy, a psychotic bad guy at that. So now that I've made kind of a pattern, I'm going to cut out my pattern. I don't have to worry about a front and back, because the same pattern I'm going to use for front and back, which is nice, because it literally, the tank top is balanced, as it were. And oh wow, my god, chat is... Stick to the bad guys. Well, okay, hang on. What else am I doing after Inishi? I have no idea. Oh! Tenya Aida. He's a good guy. So, ha! But I don't know what I'm going to do him. And I'm only going to do a school uniform, because... and actually, for me to actually do his character, I'd actually have to go into armor working with foam and whatnot. That's going to be like a year-long project, so I don't even know if I'm going to do that yet. So I might do the school uniform. Maybe, maybe not. But again, that might be just thrift store shopping for a school uniform, since it seemed easy enough for that. But again, probably not going to do him anytime soon. Probably am going to be sticking with the bad guys, because bad guys are way more interesting. Especially like Aoshi. And they go through a redemption arc, which I'm really hoping that Adam from Ruby does have a redemption arc, because it's supposed to be based off Beauty and the Beast, and the Beast, I think, has in actual folklore fairy tales, does go through a redemption. So I would really love to see that. If he stays a psychopathic person, I'll live with it. But if he gets a redemption arc, I think that would be awesome. But that's just me, and we got more people. Yes, I did allow for seam allowance. I gave myself half an inch. And that was because I actually consulted with Lunatic Cosplay. Because I asked her, hey, I'm going to be doing this on my own, and what do I need to do? And she gave me some tips and advice. And actually, you probably missed this, because I said this way at the beginning. Lunatic and I were supposed to be part of a Kenshin cosplay group. And that's the reason why I'm doing Inishi, because Aoshi, who is my favorite character from Kenshin, someone already claimed. So I was like, okay, I'll do Inishi. And that group actually fell apart, but I decided to commit to it anyways as something to do. And I never did until I finally bought the fabric, which kind of puts me in full commitment mode, because then I spent money on it. So that's kind of where this is all coming from. So I'm still going to do it. And then maybe by me doing it, revive that Kenshin cosplay group. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, I'm just reading the chat here. No, I mean, he's a villain you love to hate. He's a villain you love to hate. So yeah, that's why I'm totally fine with him not having the redemption arc. But I think it would be cool if he did have a redemption arc. They would just have to do it. It would have to be well crafted, because the amount of evil that he's done, being the psychopath that he is, something big has got to happen to make him change sides or something to that effect. So it's a long shot, and I understand that it may never happen. And like I said, I'm totally happy. I'm totally okay with him being the villain you love to hate, because he is a villain you love to hate. Um, So, okay, for those coming into this for the late arrival, I am working on Yukishiro Inishi from Rurouni Kenshin, character from the manga. And as for the Ruby chat that's going, the Ruby conversation that's going on, as we know, the people over at Rooster Teeth are not opposed to killing off characters that we love. So that proposition I find amusing. Yeah, no one needs to die, but people are gonna die. That's the beauty about Ruby, is it makes it way more realistic. It makes you, the more you invest, it makes the loss even more real. It makes the stakes higher. It gives that higher element of suspense. I mean, totally off topic here. I watch critical. Well, spoiler alert. I'm going to try to keep it as minimal spoiler as possible, but yeah, if you watch Critical Role, which is an online show over at Geek and Sundry where voice actors play D&D, the most recent episode, oh wow, wow, well done, well played. It definitely pulls the heartstrings. Alright, so that's the cloth. Hopefully I have enough. Okay, seeing how this is like folded a couple of times over, I've got plenty. Alright, cool. So that's that. I'm actually not going to be doing pinning or anything like that tonight. I'm going to hold off on that. And pants, I have been told, are very scary, so I'll be holding off making the pants as well. Mainly because they're scary. And I would prefer to have a more experienced cosplayer help me with that. So I might have a guest next time I stream. Who knows? Or I'll be on location elsewhere with said cosplayer who can help me out with that. Alright, let me see what's going on in the chat here. Yes, that is the that is the Sunday comics, and I am using newspaper taped together to make patterns because it's cheap, it's free, and it's a trick I learned. But going back to Kenshin, I have pants similar to what were used, so I just flip them inside out, and eventually we'll use this as my pattern. But again, gonna wait on getting the pattern for the pants until I have someone much more experienced with pants that can help me. So there's that. Alright, what time is it? It is 7. I've only been doing this for half an hour. Okay. So, yeah, so that's that half. So I guess I'll only do this for an hour, so I'll probably stop at 8. And then I'll just load this all onto my YouTube for more rewatching. So the first half, I guess, so that was just doing Kenshin stuff. Just making a pattern for his shirt. What I'm going to actually do now is work on something else. And yeah, last week I did kind of a test stream of all this. Again, using the Facebook Live. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to keep using Facebook Live. And then maybe graduate to Twitch if I can ever muster it up. This is prototype work, testing work that I'm doing, which is what I worked on last week during that testing phase of the streaming stuff. And it's this, which oddly enough was discussed earlier in the stream, was Adam. So about 2 years ago I made a prototype of the mask that lit up. So I'm actually revisiting it again after learning what I have and trying to make a more finalized light up mask. Last time I used Warbla as part of the foundation for the mask. This time around, with a little help from It's a Mia Cosplay, I was able to replicate the 3D printout of the mask that Bindi Smalls had made for me, because she actually gave me the file to do it, and so I was able to replicate it. So thanks to the both of you. And so now we're just going to see if I can use this and light it up. But before I do that, I actually have to take the old prototype lights and fix them a little bit, because I can't test it if this is busted. And it's busted because the wirings that was attached to the lights broke off, so I have to resolder the lighting back on it. Not the lighting, the wiring back on it, which is over here. And what I need to do is actually trim these wires so I can expose the wiring again. Yeah, because they fell off. So I'm going to do this. Another trick I learned while testing things out. Take this, push that there. So I use the tape that I was using earlier. And now I can come in close. Okay. That. And now I can just do this. And you can watch me up close. And actually can see the chat a little bit better. Alright. So I just gotta trim this insulation coating, just nick it, and then I can just very carefully expose wiring. Fortunately, I don't have a wire cutter right away available, so I have to use a utility knife to slowly cut. There we go. I felt that. Okay. You know what? I can do better. I got some other wires. It's gonna take forever. Okay, let me see here. Get my needles. Okay, that works. Realizing I don't have a garbage bin, so I'm gonna have to get one next time. That's so much easier. Okay. I need to. I will not do tutorials because I am not qualified to give tutorials. Alright, so let's see. Going to solder. I need a wet paper towel. Unfortunately, I don't have a wet paper towel, so give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, so you need a wet paper towel or a damp sponge for soldering. So I had to go get one. Now, handy dandy soldering gun. Soldering iron, actually. This one's definitely mine. Oh, let's see here. So, you know how they say you blood, sweat, and tears in every cosplay? Well, that's my blood. I had cut myself one time doing wire work. Uh-oh. My cord made the walls over there, and I don't know if I can reach it, so I might have to move. Okay, yep, we're just might have to invest in a extension cord later, but I think we can do this. Okay. Alright, so I just gotta wait for the soldering iron to heat up, and once I do that, I can repair this by adding these two wires onto it. And then we can go from there, and then make sure this is working properly, and I'll probably have to jury rig a battery pack real quick. If there's still time. I said I was going to stop around 8. What time is it now? It's almost, well, okay. So, then, I may go over a little bit, because I kind of want to get this fixed first. But, yeah, I did not think making a pattern was going to take 40 minutes. But then I was monologuing? Yes, monologuing for quite a bit. But then that's what villains do, they monologue. Oh, gross. Okay. So, once this is hot enough, it's getting there. I will go ahead and solder this, so we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, I can actually prep some things. So that still needs to heat up. Soldering irons take about 5 minutes to heat up. I actually have to look over the tape roll to see what the chat's doing. Well, this is, okay, so this is my first time really making a pattern, so I didn't know it was going to take this long. I thought I was like, okay, just slap this, slap down, draw lines and whatnot. But, yeah. In hindsight, pattern making for clothing is very similar to pattern making with props. Who knew? So the foundations are there. Yay! Maybe I'm not as incompetent as I thought I was. No, I'm really that incompetent. So yeah, it's just kind of us waiting for a soldering iron to heat up, and fun. But yeah, just I guess what I'm gonna go do is solder these two wires on so I can hook it up to a battery pack, make sure everything's running fine, and then see how that light up process here will go with the new mask. Because I'm pretty sure this is not opaque. If I shine a light through this, you're going to see through it. So so instead of this being white, I'll turn the whole thing red, which is not what I want to do. I just want to keep it white, but the stencil turn red. And then so that means I have to put an opaque backing to this to make sure the light doesn't shine through except where I want it to. And then I also have to figure out, and again, this was from the old prototype 2 years ago. I am not going to be using this layout design that you see here, this M design. I'm actually going to be using a different design because this was made for a much larger mask. And as you can see, it is the new mask, this 3D printed mask is smaller, but it fits really well. Because I can actually just, with nothing attached to this, it actually fits to my face. I don't have to use magnets, clamps, anything. It literally holds in place very easily, which is nice. But if I start running around, it'll come off. So that's why I put on mounting units anyways. So again, a big thank you to Bindi Smalls for helping me make that. And then props to It's a Mia Cosplay for printing this one out for me. So, just not touching it. Never touch your soldering iron because it gets super hot. But you can at least hover over it and feel for the heat. And it's getting there. It's almost there. But yeah, I think what I'll do is solder these two wires on, see if I can jury rig a battery pack real quick, test it all out, see how it lights through and shines through, and then we'll call it a night with that. So let me get my solder ready. Do that to keep it flat. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Great. Don't need this wire. Need these two. Okay, good. Waiting for the soldering iron. Cord's not long enough. I gotta move that way. Ooh, extreme close up, yay! Actually, I might keep, no, you know what? I'm gonna keep that angle because then you guys can see. Sort of. There we go. As I move it further away. Yes, I know. Okay. Yep. Okay. Darn it. Almost had it. There we go. Alright, that's the first wire. Does not wish to cooperate. Part of the reason why this is taking longer than it normally does is because it's old. Oh, I almost had it. There we go. Nice. And we are locked in now. This is why it's very important when you solder that your contact areas that you want to solder are clean. Otherwise, it takes a lot longer to make those contacts. And we're done, so I can unplug that. Set that aside to cool off. Needs to be cleaned a little bit more. And this is the purpose of the wet towel. It's to clean your soldering iron. So just by watching that, it's pretty easy to figure out how to do it. Wrap this back up. Move that back. Tilt that back up. And then probably be easier if I had alligator clips with me. Oh, so that just happened. Alright. So we're going to plug that back in. Yeah, okay. So that just means I gotta do this all over again. Yay. So if you didn't notice, the wire broke right off. I have to resolder it back on. That's what I get for using cheap wire. So it won't take as long to heat up since it was already on and activated. So I'm gonna let you zoom back in. Get my solder back out. And for those people who had to leave, it'll be on YouTube. So let's see if I can break this off. Nope, that's stuck on there. That's fine. Luckily, it does not take long. Luckily this time around, because everything was heated up and everything and pretty much set, it's pretty quick to recover from. Now I can unplug this again, let that cool off, and go back to jury rigging the backpack. The thing about LEDs is you actually have to not blind yourself. Move that back here. Okay, and there we go. You can kind of see, yeah, you can see it. So there's the mask. Yeah, and you can see it literally so bright. It is shining right through the mask. Yeah, it's shining right through the mask. So now I know how to make it. Now I need to figure out how to make it opaque and then maybe readjust my lighting scheme a bit. But that's pretty much all I wanted to really accomplish, was making a pattern and fixing this for testing. Thus ends my stream, the premiere one. Had a few hiccups. Like I said, I want to keep these about minimum hour, 2 hours maximum. I'll be streaming next week on Tuesday as opposed to the regular scheduled Monday because we're on Kenshin Monday next week. So next week will be Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye!